Hello. This is going to be the first of a couple of videos giving you some other ideas for how you can engage some students while they're listening. In class, we did the note-taking with the amps that I created. Again, that could have been done with signposts or any other note-taking device that you might use in class already. For this video, we're going to be looking at a mental imagery activity, and it's adapted from Debbie Miller's book, Reading with Meaning, and I kind of tweaked it a little bit to suit my needs. For this example, we're going to be listening to a podcast that is intended for the younger audience. So I know some of you teach the younger grades, and this would really be a great option for you. For those of you who teach older grades, this may not be the perfect one, but what we do with this can be done with nearly any podcast, of course. So we're always going to be looking to adjust things to suit our grade level and our content. So in just a minute, I'm going to make my view smaller, my camera view smaller, and then I'm going to be showing you some things. We are going to be listening to a podcast. It's called The Alien Adventures of Finn Caspian, and it's made by one man, and his son will pop in every once in a while, his real-life son. And it's narrated. There's not characters like there were in Mars Patel, so that's a different style of audio drama. And there are sound effects, there are music, but the production is not quite as involved as Mars Patel because, again, there are all different kinds of podcasts. And we will start figuring out what we like and what suits our needs the more you're exposed to them. The first thing we're going to do with this mental imagery is you would obviously listen to the episode ahead of time so that you would know what the content was, and choose a passage or a section of the text of the recording that you want to focus on. Don't do the whole episode. That'll be overwhelming. We're going to be listening to like 2 minutes for this. And before you do that, I just have the kids fold a piece of paper into quarters. You can do it whatever suits your needs, of course. And for the first square, I'll show it to you up close, but for the first square, you want them to draw their own mental image before listening to anything of the topic. So in this case, we drew a picture of a spaceship. That's what I said. And we did this with a class of adults. Just draw a spaceship. And so I drew my own, and I'm by no means an artist, but there it is. And it's more of an alien kind of, and it's maybe like an invasion type UFO, I guess, even more so than a spaceship is what I drew. And then we listen to the passage. So we're going to listen to the passage right now, and we'll talk about what happens after that. So again, I'm going to shrink me down. And we are here at finncaspian.com/episodes, and we're going to listen to episode 1. And I got us to where we want to be, which starts at about 1 minute and 30 seconds. And as we're listening, you can be doing this as you listen along, or just keeping the thoughts in your mind. But what I would tell the group is, as you listen, sketch what you hear. Make a visual image of what you see.
Imagine you had the most powerful telescope in the universe. You aimed its lens straight past everything orbiting your sun. The planets, the asteroids, the comets, and all that dust and gas clogging up your Milky Way. Straight out past the dwarf planets like Pluto.
Hey,
Oh, sorry, Pluto, but it's just the way it is now.
I know.
Straight out of your galaxy and through to light years beyond. And you saw a planet that looked just like yours. Blue, gray, and green. But it has a purple moon. Do you see it? The purple moon orbiting the blue, gray, and green planet? Look again and you'll see it's not a moon, but a spaceship. And if you trained that telescope to get a closer look, you would see it wasn't just an ordinary spaceship, but a space station. A ship so large and round and full of life that you'd be forgiven for thinking of it as its own planet. Certainly the people, and especially the kids who lived aboard the famous Marlow 280 Interplanetary Exploratory Space Station, thought of it as their own world. And after you'd sat gazing through your telescope, admiring the beauty of such a technological marvel, with its porthole windows through which you could see people walking importantly, and funny-looking robots acting ridiculous and busy, soaking in the heavenly glow that surrounded the entire station, that gave it a sense of being warm and safe in the great and frigid expanse of space, you would train your telescope down near the bottom of the space station, where you would see tiny pods, little ships that astronauts from the Marlow flew down to explore unknown planets. And those ships would be clustered around its lower half like a pearl necklace. And if you were curious about those ships and you went in for a closer look, you would see one of those pearls, one of those ships, was missing. And beyond that, you would see something not quite right. You would see a hole in the space station, a jagged tear in that otherwise peaceful sphere And moving in even closer, you'd spy a broken door flung open, exposing all of that safety and warmth of the station's atmosphere to the cold black of space. And if you trained that telescope even closer, you would see something even more surprising. You would see a boy of about 8 years old wearing a spacesuit, and he's clinging to that door and fighting to keep from being flung out into space, floating free among the stars, which is really not as nice as that may sound. Holding on to the famous Marlow 280 Interplanetary Exploratory Space Station, and if your telescope were equipped with some sort of high-tech radar, you might even be able to hear that boy, and that boy would be screaming one simple word, and that word would be Foggy! Yes, that's right, Foggy. You thought it was going to be help, didn't you? You thought that little boy was going to be screaming help like he was some common storybook victim. You certainly did not think that a boy dangling into the unforgiving infinite realm of outer space, with his life hanging in the balance, would be yelling about the weather. But yeah, that boy would be yelling, Foggy! As if his life depended on it. And of course it would, because a boy can't simply go flying or swimming out into space. Foggy! He yelled again, and this time he nearly choked on the word because he could hardly breathe. He was so scared. And the effort of screaming made his pinky finger slip. And then the effort of trying to get his pinky finger back around the door handle made his ring finger slip. And now he was holding onto the door with just 2 tired fingers and a thumb. And even though he made no more effort, save the effort of holding onto that handle, 2 fingers and a thumb just won't do the job of holding the weight of a growing boy against the vacuum of space. So his hand slipped, and that boy let go. He let go, and he shot out into space, and he sucked in the oxygen pumping through his spacesuit to yell once again, his last chance, his last hope of being heard, and he yelled. Let's just pause for a moment.
Okay, so that was about 3 minutes worth of text that we listened to. At this point, then, I would have the kids, so they were drawing, they were sketching what they were hearing, what they were visualizing. At this point, then we pair up, and we did this in the group when we met face-to-face this summer. We paired up. At that point, and I'm going to make my screen bigger. If I can get, there we go. At that point, this was what I drew. Okay, we can see that. So I didn't do a great job. I'm by no means an artist. I'm going out of my box to even show people what I'm drawing. And you can see that I kept it pretty basic. We have the sort of the pods going around and a character hanging out that said Foggy with the tear in the spaceship. We met in partnerships and we compared what each other had drawn, and we took that information in. And then we actually re-listened. I'm not going to make you do that right now, but we re-listened. So now we had a clearer picture of what we were listening to, a clearer mental picture, and additionally the information from a partner. Then this last time we drew a fuller picture, a fuller visualization that we could make a better picture of that movie in our mind. We can make that stronger and even more clear. At that point, again, my artistic skills didn't improve, but my visualization probably did. So, sorry, get that right there. And I'll try to get that out of the way. Okay. So you can see at this point, then I've done a better job. In the corner, there's the planet. I already forgot. I think he said blue and gray, maybe where the colors are purple even. We have the sort of the portholes going through the middle with robots walking by. The AirPod, or the, not AirPods, the little pods, spaceship pods that go around are more like a necklace. I realized the bottom half. So we did that. I still have Foggy. I still have the character coming out of the thing. There's the door hanging. But then also an important detail, and it's actually important to the story, is you can see here I left a gap because it did say it looked like there was one missing. So there's a gap there, and that was an important detail that I didn't pick up on the first time, but it could help me clear up my understanding the second time, possibly. Again, this is not something that we would have kids do every time they listen or for an entire episode even, because that would be overwhelming to attempt to sketch all of it. But every once in a while, especially as we begin reading this new kind of text, listening to podcasts, this is a good place to start off so that they can begin engaging their mind in that mental imagery and that making that movie in their mind. So this is one of the activities that you can choose to do for this assignment. The next video will have another option for you as well.